Imagine you and your spouse watching a tearjerker movie together. You are fully immersed, crying, laughing, and feeling every emotional twist, while your spouse remains calm and collected. How can you both be watching the same movie yet have such different reactions? The secret lies in perception. You are so absorbed in the movie that your body and mind react as if it's all real. Your spouse, however, stays aware that it's just a movie, observing the drama rather than becoming part of it. We often do the same thing in our own lives, especially as parents. We get overwhelmed by work deadlines, our children's tantrums, and family conflicts. We get trapped in one emotional storm after another, each one consuming, draining, and drowning us, causing poor decisions that further lead to even bigger problems. I've been there, letting my emotions run the show, until I discovered Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul. Once I started practicing one of his key ideas, stepping back and observing my thoughts and emotions rather than letting myself get sucked in, everything changed. Now, like that calm spouse, I can stay in the observer's seat, facing every emotional whirlwind with a sense of calm I never thought possible. Let me share how this observer method works and how it can transform your life too. First, we need to rethink who we really are. Are we our names? Are we our body? How about our thoughts? Singer answered in The Untethered Soul that none of those, and we are just a piece of awareness behind them. Our thoughts, emotions, and physical form are objects in front of us. The thoughts are closer in, the emotions are a little further away, and physical form is way out there. We are the spiritual being who sees life events, thoughts, and emotions that pass before us. We remain in the center, simply watching. Singer called this place the seat of consciousness, our true home. Take everything else away, and you are still there, aware that all those objects are gone, but remove the awareness, and nothing remains. In essence, we are not our thoughts. We are aware of our thoughts. We are not our emotions. We feel our emotions. We are not our body. We look at it in the mirror and experience this world through our body. We are the conscious being who is aware that we are aware of all these inner and outer things. Why do we get lost in our thoughts and emotions in the first place? It's because our awareness or consciousness has the ability to focus so completely on one object that everything else fades away. For example, you might be reading a book, then suddenly you remember last night's argument with your spouse. Your mind dives into replaying the fights, and you lose track of what you are reading. Or when you are deeply absorbed in watching TV, you have no awareness of where you are sitting or what else is going on in the room. In those moments, your consciousness has left its center seat and become fixated on the memory of the argument or the TV show, zooming in so narrowly on those objects that everything else, including your sense of being the observer, fades away. Essentially, you get lost in the very objects your consciousness focuses upon. So how do you free yourself from those overwhelming thoughts and emotions? The answer is to step back and view them objectively, a process Singer calls returning to the center seat of consciousness. Instead of letting your awareness zero in on those objects, your thoughts and emotions, pull it back to that center seat. You go from merely being aware of your thoughts and feelings to becoming aware that you're aware of them. It's like getting so lost in a TV show that you forget you're sitting on the couch until someone shakes you and you're suddenly aware that you are sitting on the couch watching TV. Once you pull back to that center seat of consciousness and see the thoughts, emotions, or any inner turmoil, you are no longer drowning in them. You are standing apart from them as the observer. This shift in awareness puts you outside those swirling thoughts and emotions instead of being trapped inside them. It's like once you realize that you are simply watching the TV and see the entire room, the TV, the couch, and everything in the room, you are no longer so caught up in the show. Let's see how the observer method works in everyday life. Imagine you're worrying about big work project. Instead of thinking, I'm so stressed, pause and say, I'm aware that this pressure and worry are happening right now. That simple change keeps you from being the stress and helps you see more clearly what actually needs to be done, like making a solid to-do list, instead of letting frantic energy run the show. By reminding yourself, I am the observer of these thoughts, you reduce reactivity and free up the mental space to tackle your tasks more calmly. The same goes for a child's tantrum. The moment you feel frustration or anger bubbling up, step back and tell yourself, I'm aware that I'm feeling frustrated right now. Notice both your child's meltdown and your own responses without getting sucked in. From this observer's vantage point, you are far less likely to lash out and much more likely to respond calmly and rationally. Even in conflicts with a partner or spouse, simply noticing your heart racing or anger surfacing creates a buffer that keeps you from diving into fight mode. By stepping into the observer's seat, you see the conflict as something in front of both of you, not something that defines either of you. This makes it easier to work through the problem together rather than getting lost in hurt or resentment. Here are a few simple but powerful techniques to help you switch to the observer mode and return to your center seat of consciousness. Number 1, try the hello method. Singer suggests quietly repeating hello in your mind and noticing that you are the one hearing it. Whenever you catch yourself lost in a swirl of thoughts or emotions, refocus on that inner hello. You shift back to that center seat of consciousness. Number 2, name the thought or emotion. Name and describe your thoughts and emotions by simply narrating what's happening inside you. For example, I notice I'm thinking, I really don't like the way my child is talking right now, or I feel anxious about tomorrow's deadline. By labeling them, you remind yourself that you are the observer rather than the thoughts or emotions themselves. Number 3, take slow, conscious breaths. Pay attention to each inhale and exhale. This simple anchor keeps you grounded in the present moment, preventing you from getting swept away by inner or outer drama. Number 4, visualize pulling back the camera lens mentally. Imagine you zoom out, viewing your thoughts and emotions as just a few objects in front of your true self, the piece of consciousness deep within. Whether you're a busy parent or simply overwhelmed by everyday demands, you can break free from life's emotional storms by returning to your seat of consciousness, the observer method. Each time you catch yourself swept up in stress, frustration, or anger, step back, notice what's happening, and reclaim your role as the observer. With practice, you'll feel calmer, clearer, and more in control, no matter how chaotic life gets. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, and together we'll be better moms and dads. See you in the next one.